Well, congratulations, Hall of Famer Gary Hull Sr. What a wonderful night at Gloucester Park last Friday night. 4 winners you trained on the 10-event card, including the WA Derby with the brilliant Major Trojan. That was a great triumph.
Yeah, that was the important one, Ken, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a great night. Yeah, it's probably one of my better nights in harness racing, I think.
Major Trojan, what's he up to at the moment?
He's shoes off and he's over at Debbie Lewis's place having a well-earned spell.
So we won't see him until a few months' time, anyhow, at least.
He'll have 5 weeks off and then probably another 3 months. So what's that? Another 4 months from now, 5 months from now, which will be, September, around that time.
Now, Gary, you've won the WA Derby for the 5th time in 7 years, which is not a bad little record. WA Oaks hasn't been that successful for you, but you've got a leading candidate, in my opinion, in B Katherine, a New Zealand-bred filly, very immature. She's only had 2 starts. Well, she's very inexperienced, and she has her first Australian start here in a Oaks Prelude on Friday night.
I've only won one, haven't I?
I think so, yeah.
And I drove it. No, Gary drove it.
Well, it's about time you improved your Oaks record.
I won a Group 1 race in she wasn't much good, and then she got beat at Cunderton and won the Oaks. But it hasn't been a good race for me. And this year we've got a really, really good filly. She's a really nice filly, and I think she's definitely up to Oaks class. And Friday night's going to be a bit of a test for her because she's drawn inside the back line. But I think she'll be hard to beat, and she'll probably need to run because it's been a bit of a rush preparation. She came over, and we've sort of, haven't had that long to get her ready. But she's going great at home, and I like her. She's a very nice filly. Good going filly that doesn't wear a head check or anything like that, and I'm really happy with her. Did
anything special lead you into getting your clients to buy this horse?
No, Steve Chapman bought him on his own. I can't even take any of the credit for it. He just rang me and said he bought a horse, B Katherine, have a look at it. And so I had a look at it, and he said, I think she can win the Oaks. And I thought, when I had a look at it, I thought, well, probably not on what she's done over there. I can't see, that she could win the Oaks on that. But since I've had her, I think she can win the Oaks, but we've got one little stumbling block, a horse called Dracaris.
Who is driven by your son, the champion rangeman Gary Hull Jr., so it'll be hard to get him off Dracaris in the final of the Oaks.
Yeah, I think Dracaris will have to draw barrier 12 and we'll have to draw barrier 1 or something, but I still think he'll stick with her because he thinks she's a female Chicago bull, so which I tend to agree with. She looks a bit like him, goes a bit like him, and she's got all the attributes that he's got.
Well, she's small like him, like Chicago Bull. Now, looking at Friday night's race, B Katherine, she hasn't been beaten and she hasn't been extended at her 2 starts in New Zealand. I've watched them both several times. The trainer and driver over there didn't use her gate speed at all. She drew barrier 5 and barrier 7, I think, in both those races, and she wasn't driven out at the start in either of them, but she's certainly impressed, Gary, with her finishing strength.
Yeah, in saying that, the horses she met over there were, pretty average sort of conveyances, and they were maidens and that sort of thing, but which you expect an unraced filly to meet. But she did account for them quite easily. They didn't use her speed because she can get on the chewy a bit and pull a bit if you send her out, so that's why they went back with her. But she's got high speed. I think she can stick a bit, and she drives quite well. So, I think she's going to need a bit of luck from the inside back draw because I don't think Gary can afford to use her too much because, as I said, she's probably a little bit underdone. But, if you got a clear running and had every chance, I'd be disappointed if she didn't win.
And the final of the Oaks is in about 3.5 weeks' time, so there's still plenty of improvement in B Katherine.
Yeah, I'm sort of planning a Major Trojan-like preparation, only have a few runs and go into peak on the Oaks night. But I'm sure she'll be ready by then, and as long as she gets into it, I suppose. But Friday night will tell, and she'll have to go good because, it's by selection, and she'll need to go pretty good in this field to get into the Oaks.
One of your horses, in whose idea was this, is certainly racing in wonderful form. He was a brilliant winner last Friday night, and he's lining up again this week, and whose idea was this. He's drawn barrier 8 in the race 4. You've also got Caviar Star at 6 and Tact Major at 7. So Unusual thing, Gary. You've got 3 last start winners, Caviar Star, Tact Major, and Whose Idea Was This in the one race? But it's a sprint over 1730 metres, so barrier 6, 7 and 8 are not absolutely ideal.
Yeah, it was a group preferential barrier draw on wins at their last 2 starts, so that's why they've all drawn there. Luckily, I think it's lucky that the Volton Tin drew outside us, not inside us, because he would have made it very difficult for us. But I can't separate Caviar Star and Whose Idea Is This, and Tact Major. He's as good as those two, without any doubt. But he, you know, obviously he's on the way up, and I would say that he's not 100% fit yet. But, you know, like, there could be a bit on in that race, and, you know, even then Tact Major might be the last man standing sort of thing and getting home. But I've got a leaning towards Caviar Star, so that's why Gary's driving it. But Whose Idea Is This has been a terrific horse for me since he's come over from Sydney, and, you know, he's done a wonderful job. He's had some, you know, pretty serious leg injuries, but he seems 100% sound at the moment, and he's racing really well, so a win by him wouldn't surprise either.
And just finally on that race, Tact Major drawn 7. He's not essentially a front runner, is he?
No, I think he's better set up, Ken. I think some of his best wins have been held up for one run. So if it's truly run and there's not something, you know, leading and something outside dictating in the races, you know, a bit up tempo, I'm sure he can be involved, that's for sure.
10 runners on Friday night program, so it'll be a busy night. You start off with Campora, drawn the outside in a field of 9 in race 1, 2130 metres, and Campora. He's taken no ill effect of after galloping when in front last Friday night.
Well, he'd already been crossed by the time he galloped, but I don't know what happened. I think the pace might have slackened off or something. I don't know. That was a crazy race when Mark Reed sort of cut the ribbons, and I think did none of the leaders, or which were my two, or him, any good. I think the 3 of them suffered from that move, but anyway, he's drawn 1 on Friday night, and I'd say that will win the race, the art form, I'd say.
And Gary, at long last, Liberty Rose ended a losing sequence of 14, and she came home nicely to win last week. She's drawn barrier 6 in race 7, a 25-36 metre mobile event. Stuart McDonald's going to drive her, because I'm sure Gary Hall Jr. is going to drive Warfare, who was a very impressive first-up winner in Western Australia for Justin and Junior here at a midweek a week or so ago.
Yeah, Liberty Rose won aided by a sensational drive by Gary. Drove her fantastic, and you know, Stewie's a good driver too. I don't think she'll lose anything there. But obviously Gary's going to stick to Warfare. It looks the leader, and it looks like it's going to dictate terms. So can't see a lot of pressure in the race. So it'd make it hard for Liberty Rose. But I wouldn't say she's out of it. You know, she can. She's a better horse not leading anyway. She's better held up. So you know, hopefully she can beat Warfare. That
is her forte, sit sprinter, I'm sure. In race 8, you've got a runner in Ideal 1, a winner 2 starts ago. The solitary runner off the back line, so a few options there for Gary Hall Jr. in that race, a 21-30 metre mobile.
What's drawn 1?
Mark Quissard, who's drawn wide at several of his recent starts.
Mark Quissard, I think, is a very good front runner. I think that's probably where he's won most of his races, and I think he'll try and lead, which will give Ideal 1 definitely a place chance for sure. And yeah, his run wasn't that bad last start, and his win was quite good. Junior back on him, I'm sure he'll go well. He's definitely a place chance.
And you've got He's Manly at barrier 7, Chewer's Delight at barrier 9 in race 9, a 21-30 metre mobile, with Quick Stride, also from the Prentice camp, with Gary Hall Jr. driving it, drawn barrier 3, and Quick Stride aiming to make it 6 wins in a row. So can He's Manly and or Chewer's Delight trouble Quick Stride?
Definitely not Chewer's Delight. Can't. Yeah, well, Chewer's Delight's not that bad a horse. He's a good, honest little horse, but he needs to draw a barrier where he can lead or be behind the leader, like he led when he ran second in that stand to Caviar Star. It wasn't a bad run. And but not knocking him, but that barrier draw's taken him out of the race. And He's Manly's quite a nice horse, actually. And I think it could trouble Quick Stride if Quick Stride, who's not a great beginner, by the way, he doesn't begin that quick. And Quick Stride could get, if it got into a little bit of trouble early or had to work that little bit hard, He's Manly will definitely find any kinks in his armour, I think, anyway.
Well, it was a good, tough run when second last Friday night. He did all the work in the breeze, and I thought he was gone a long way from home, but he certainly wasn't.
Yeah, I thought he could win that race. I was a bit disappointed. I
It was an excellent run.
I wasn't disappointed because I won the race with Liberty Rose, and you know, like Steve's a real good client of mine, and he's been unlucky with that mare. So I was happy that she won, but I sort of thought, looking at the race, that He's Manly was the better chance, and but I was wrong. She got up and beat him, but he did go very good, and he's looking to win a race, I think.
So well done again on Derby, WA Derby number 5, Gary, and let's hope your good form continues this Friday night.
Thanks very much, Ken. Thank you.